I hope that tonight I'm right side up, not sideways, and that you will be able to see what I'm working on and add comments as you would like. Uh, just trying to make sure I have everything set up correctly before we officially start. Let me see. All right, I think we're good. We're going to go ahead and get started. I have 4 cards for you tonight. They're very, very easy to make, very simple, but they're very easily duplicatable with whatever paper and stamps that you have on hand. For our cards, though, I am using, as I have been all week over on Facebook, I've been featuring cards using the mixed media florals suite. So for today's cards, I'm going to use that same paper set. And I mean, seriously, this paper is absolutely gorgeous. It makes beautiful cards. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The stamp set that I'm using for all my cards also is Simply Said. This is a stamp set from the annual catalog. I like it because it's so versatile. It has a bunch of greetings that you can just use with all kinds of cards. So for the first card, we're going to start out with a thick basic white card base, and I'm going to fold that in half. Of course, this is the standard 8.5 by 5.5, and scored it 4 1/4 and then folded. Then I have a basic white panel, and then I have 3 panels of the Designer Series paper. I have that, and then 2 of these strips of the green. And we're just going to lay these on here like this. But before we do that, I'm just going to add the green pieces, just as they are. These green pieces are cut to 4 inches by 1 inch. Maybe not. Maybe I trimmed them down. Let me look. Nope, they're 4 inches by 1 inch. And I'm going to have one at the top, one at the bottom. And then I'm going to cut a strip of ribbon. It's this sheer silver and white ribbon. And I'm going to cut a piece that's going to go from top to bottom, just like that. So it's going to be all told probably around, I don't know, 7 inches. So we're going to add some Stamp and Seal at the top and at the bottom. And then add our ribbon. Whoops. I don't want it too close to the edge. Okay, I think we're good. That looks good. Okay, so then I'm going to take this, add the rest of the seal, and add this to my card front. All right, and then I'm going to take the middle piece, which this one is 4x3, and then just add that right over top of the ribbon and between the two green pieces. Okay. Now, I cut out using that hexagon punch. I cut out a basic white piece and a boho blue piece. And I'm going to cut the white piece in half. So this may be overkill, but I'm going to pull out my trimmer for that. And you can see that it's 2 inches, so I can center it right on the 1 inch line on either side, and it'll be cut perfectly in half. Taking the boho blue piece, I'm going to add a little seal to the top and bottom. And then just add this basic white hexagon that we cut in half as a little frame. And then I used another piece of basic white cardstock and I cut out a circle using the Stylish Shapes dies, and I stamped it in boho blue just a note. So I'm going to add that in the middle. Again, you could use whatever punch, whatever DSP you wanted, whatever stamp set you wanted to make this card. And then I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals and add it to my card. Sort of straddling that ribbon. All right, so there we have our first card. Nice and easy. Next up, I have a petal pink card base. And then I have a square of Mossy Meadow and another strip of Mossy Meadow, a piece of the Designer Series paper, and then another piece. And I need to grab my Mossy Meadow ink. 1 second. I forgot about stamping this card when I was getting all my supplies out. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to use the Hello stamp. And that's right here. And I'm going to add the Hello right to the very bottom of my Designer Series paper. Okay, so I'm just going to add that right down there. Hello. All right, now this one just goes right together from here. So we're going to fold this in half, or it's 8.5 by 5.5, it's scored at 4 1/4 again. Then I'm going to add some seal and adhere this piece of Designer Series paper right to the bottom. This piece of paper is 5.5 by 2 inches. And the nice thing about using Stampin' Seal is if you need to move it, it doesn't fully adhere right away, so you can easily pick it up and reposition it as you need. Because we want this right to the bottom of our card base. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our strip of Mossy Meadow, right like that. This piece of paper is 5.5 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to overlap the top of my designer series paper to make it look nice and seamless. Next, I'm going to layer these two together. And add this to my card front. Again, you can see where this is going, a really quick and easy card. Now, before I send this, of course, I will add a basic white panel to the inside. So that you can write on the inside, not on the cardstock, but on a white piece. Okay, now I'm going to add some gems. Oops, sorry. I didn't get them out ahead of time, which I should have. But they should be right here, yeah. So for these projects, this is what I've used. It's the iridescent foil gems, and these are also from the annual catalog. I use these a lot because they are incredibly easy to adapt to any project that you're working on. And what I've done is I just took 3 of them and I added them to this piece, to my strip. You don't have to do this part. I just think the little bling looks good. Whoops. And I like to use my Take Your Pick tool for lifting up the embellishments and putting them on my card. Okay, so there's card number 2. Moving right along. For our next card, super simple card. We have a thick basic white card base. This one is 4 1/4 by 11. So I scored it at 5.5. And let me grab my measurements for this one. Somehow I didn't pick this one up. Well, we'll just measure it as we go. Then I have a piece of Shy Shamrock. And this is 4 by 5 1/4. So it'll get layered on the front like that. And then I have a piece of basic white, which is 3.5 by 5, and that'll go right there. Then I have a piece of designer series paper, and it is 3.5 inches square. It's going to go here, and so I'm going to stamp my sentiment right there. For this one, I'm going to use Birthday Wishes, and I'm going to stamp it before I put the card together. Okay, Birthday Wishes. We don't need this one. Shy Shamrock. And I'm going to go to the top part of the white piece. All right. That looks good. Can layer these together. Okay, now I'm going to add the piece of designer series paper right here. And then before we put it on the card, I'm going to add a ribbon. There, that's the right way. Whoops. Sticking together. Okay. And we're going to add this right here. Now I'm going to take that same silver and white ribbon, the sheer ribbon, and I'm going to add a bow. Okay, trim off my sides. And now we'll add this to our card base. Okay. And then there's our third card. And that's so pretty and so springy looking. I'm ready to give to a special friend. All right, last but not least, and this one's my favorite and probably the easiest of all of them, is I have a piece of Daffodil Delight, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a panel of crumb cake that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I have a panel of the cards of the designer series paper that's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And so it's going to layer together just like that. But before we do that, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I'm using Birthday Wishes again. And I'm going to stamp it right here in this empty spot. So you can see this really is a very, very easy card. All right, Birthday Wishes. So you can make this particular card 4 times out of one piece of the designer series paper, because here's how it comes in the pack. So you have 4 corners to use. And then you end up with a strip in the middle, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. All right. A little more seal, and we will be good to go. Okay, so now here's the card that I made. Well, I put a ribbon on this one. I didn't on this one. It doesn't, I don't know. The ribbon looks nice, but I don't think it's critical. But anyhow, I want you to see, here's my 2 corners. And then here's my panel that's left over. This will only work for one of the cards, but I'm going to cut it down and use that as my inside instead of adding a basic white piece. It'll be a nice decorated piece on the inside. And I think that'll look really pretty. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, you can see, you can either do it with the ribbon or without. I think it looks pretty both ways. Let's cut this down. Let's see what our size is. So this is 5 inches. So I'd probably want to go with 3 3/4. And I'd like, I think this way. And then I'll just add that to the inside. All right, and that makes a pretty birthday card for a friend. So here are the cards that we made tonight, just to repeat. The 2 birthday, just a note, and hello. So thanks for stopping by and watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Meantime, thanks again. Have a good week, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.